What's going on, guys? This is going to be a very informal video. We are out here in the great outdoors in South Texas. It's actually a little bit chilly, not much, honestly. For South Texas, it's chilly. It's about 69 degrees. We got cold breeze coming through. We got some cold rain. It's going to get down into the 50s, I think, tonight or tomorrow. Should be pretty cool, but kind of look at this video as like a vlog video, right? Now, I'm not going to start doing a daily vlog or anything like that, or weekly or any vlog. I just don't do that kind of stuff. If you want to see cool stuff like that, go check out Hosh Nasi. I'll put a link in the description box down below to his channel. But just kind of look at this video like that. A very informal video, just talking about some stuff that's on my mind. But I wanted to talk about the election, about Donald Trump, about everything that's been going on. Okay, we are now a week out from election, right? Election's over. It's been a week. Some people are freaking out. Some people are happy, whatever. And I look at it kind of like this, right? We are getting out of the hangover period right now, because basically what the election was for a year and a half was all of us sitting in a bar, getting drunk, partying, fighting, doing all that kind of stuff, right? Over here you got two people that absolutely hate each other, right? They work together, but they hate each other, and they're over there arguing and yelling at each other, all kinds of stuff. Then over here you got two people that are best friends, but they've been drinking. They've been drinking, and now some stupid little thing, probably a girl, who knows, has pissed them off, and they're about to get into a fist fight, even though they're best friends. And then over there you got the dude just trying to get laid, right? He don't care. He's not paying attention to everybody else drinking. And then there's the guy in the back. He's here to drink, but he wants to be left alone. He's just waiting around for closing time. He's just trying to get a little buzz going. That's it. That's kind of like my analogy for our election. You got enemies fighting, you got friends fighting, you got people that don't care and just trying to get laid, you got people in the back that just want to be left alone. And then the election comes. The election happens. That's closing time, right? That's closing time. Boom, done. And the last week has been hangover period. And for me, just in the last couple days, I've kind of come out of that hangover period. You know, it's kind of like everybody has their hangover, but you got to get up, get ready for work the next day. That's what the next 4 years are. Get ready for work. And what I realized, to my surprise, coming out of this hangover period, which was Donald Trump's president, cool. Hey, why not? Let's see what happens, right? And even though Hillary Clinton is and would have been 100 times worse than Donald Trump without any doubt, I still felt like I would have been disappointed with Donald Trump just because he's Donald Trump. And you guys know, I'm not particularly a big fan of Donald Trump as a Republican candidate, as a candidate for president. He's not conservative. He has no bounds to the Constitution. He doesn't care about the Constitution. And I spoke about this ad nauseum to many of you guys out there. Disappointment. I continue to talk about it in podcasts and videos, all kinds of stuff. And so now that it's over, it's done, and I just don't have a problem with Donald Trump being president, I had to start thinking, what the fuck happened in the last year that made me so against him then, and now I just don't care. And it's not just because, oh, well, now he's won, you want to be on the winning side. It's not it. Because I didn't do that with Obama. I didn't do that with Bush. I just didn't care. And I think that was it. I never had the standards that I have now. For some reason, this time around, I held the candidates, I held myself, I held all of you out there, the voters, to a higher standard than I ever have before when it comes to the Constitution and freedom and liberty and these values. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having those standards, but we as a country have moved so far away from that for so long that it is kind of ridiculous to expect every nominee to maintain those standards, to expect every voter to expect those standards out of their candidate. It really kind of is ridiculous, and I did that. And I think the reason that I did that is because, for the last 6 or 7 years on YouTube, I've been in this echo chamber with all of you guys out here, between the videos and the podcasts and everything else, the comments, where we just talk about freedom and liberty and the Constitution all the time, right? And so going into this election, especially when we had people like Rand Paul running, I had this standard, this high standard of whoever is the Republican nominee needs to be fucking perfect when it comes to the Constitution. That was my standard. And my standard also was other voters should feel the same way I do. And that was ridiculous of me to feel that way. And now that it's all over, it's all said and done, I realize how ridiculous that was, where I didn't before. Now again, like I said, there's nothing wrong with having those standards. That's a good thing to shoot for. We should all have those standards, but practically speaking, I know that's not possible. I know that it's going to be almost impossible to get somebody who is ridiculously strong on the Constitution and freedom and liberty to win an election. It'd be great, and maybe we're moving that direction. I hope we are. So I hope we try to have at least some of those standards, but it certainly would have been almost impossible this election. And I understand that now. I didn't at the time. So my standards were so high for Donald Trump, for all of you guys out there voting, for myself, that it was unrealistic. I still know, I'm not trying to convince you guys, but I still know that Donald Trump is not a constitutional conservative. But if he goes and does 1/4 of the stuff he said he'd do, if he just manages to go in there and just not screw up the economy worse, just be a better president than Obama, that's all you got to do. That's a step in the right direction, and I'm completely cool with that. Because, see, I didn't have those standards for Mitt Romney or McCain or Bush, right? I didn't have these ridiculously high standards for them. Why should I have them for Donald Trump? If he goes in there and just tries to, in general, do good, tries to not screw up things worse, tries to be better than Obama, I'll be happy. I'll be happy. And that's the realization I've come to after the hangover period of this election is over. And another thing I've come to is that I realized that one of the reasons I fought so hard against Donald Trump, the reason I kept talking about it in podcasts, the reason I kept making videos about it, especially throughout the primaries, wasn't just because my standards were high, but also because I have a very stubborn personality. And what happened is it was Donald Trump supporters that would, I mean, literally, and I've talked about this very briefly before in the podcast, but I had Donald Trump supporters the first time that I said anything about Donald Trump, about, the guy's kind of a joke, you know that, right? He's not really a Republican or a conservative. I had people that supported Donald Trump sending me PMs, threatening me. And, you know, basically, that was kind of the mentality of a lot of people. And it's not a lot of people out there. In fact, most of you out there, even if you are Donald Trump supporters, you weren't that kind of Donald Trump supporter. But some of you out there were. Very, very small percentage, but some of you were. And it was the ridiculousness of that support in the face of facts and then the threats and all the other stuff. And because I'm stubborn, when people pushed against me, I pushed back. And so I took all that out on Donald Trump as a candidate, as opposed to taking it out on those ridiculous jackass Donald Trump supporters who were being ridiculous jackasses. And that's where I made the mistake. I should have focused less on him and more on them if I was going to make videos about that type of stuff. But I took it out on him. And again, I know and I maintain he is not a constitutional conservative, but I should have at least been willing to give him a chance. I mean, I would have been willing to give Mitt Romney a chance, and I didn't like Mitt Romney. I would have been willing to give McCain a chance, and I didn't like John McCain. So I should have been willing to give him a chance. And it took him winning to make me go, okay, I'll give him a chance. Because now that he's won, I'm like, I don't care like I thought it would. It didn't disappoint me that he won like I thought it would. And that was a strange feeling for me. And that's what made me go back and examine, why was I so against him? And again, it was the standards. My standards were quite honestly too high for the political climate we live in. And his supporters, a very small portion of them, are a bunch of ridiculous jackasses who pushed somebody like me to want to speak out against their candidate because they were being such assholes. So that's pretty much what it boils down to, guys. So again, a very unimportant video in the grand scheme of things. So watch it if you want. If you don't, I completely understand. I appreciate those of you who did watch. Great, cool, awesome. Comment down below, but that's pretty much it. Let's look forward to the next 4 years without Obama, without Hillary. Let's hope that Donald Trump lives up to at least some of the stuff he said. If he does, I think we'll all be happy and we'll all be moving in a better direction. So there you go. That's it, man. As always, guys, I appreciate you watching, and we'll talk to you later.